Hi, Retired Grandpa here with you on another exciting day at the range. So today's episode, as you can guess by the title, is going to be drop safety of the FRT. So today I'm going to use my BCM 11.5. I'm going to have a couple of spent cases here. So, if we hear the old primer pop, then we know that it would have been an unintentional discharge. And I've got two of those ready, and I've got plenty more ammunition standing by. I will say, I use this lineman tool here to take the M193 apart, and it was pretty tough. Or the M193 was pretty tough. So this right here is your FRT. So it's on safe, semi-automatic, and full semi-automatic. And if anybody hasn't seen the actual inside of the trigger mechanism, this is where all the magic happens. So in a real M16, this would be your auto sear, but we don't have a third hole, unfortunately, thanks to the NFA and ATF. But the full auto bolt carrier does hit this and allows the hammer to fall. So let you take a quick look at that. And there's probably some much better videos on YouTube that pertain to how this looks and functions and all. I will say that it is important when you install one, there's a screw on the left side of the cassette, and we'll make sure that that's locked tight in place. I didn't know that until after I installed this, of course. So I did take a piece of plastic from a spiral notebook and wedged it in there, but of course it's on the wrong side of the cassette, so no big deal. And of course it does have anti-walk pins, so you do want to make sure that these pins here are secured in place. It does come with some Loctite, blue Loctite already installed, but with everything else, trust but verify, and I'd recommend just going ahead and putting a little dab of Loctite on the screws just in case. And as I say with Loctite, a dab will do. So the interesting thing about trying to put all this back together is, to close the upper and lower, kind of have to have like three hands, so sort of, but you press I just call it the auto sear. I don't really know what it's called. I think it's some sort of a lever, but anyway, so you push that forward, press the trigger, and you want to ride your hammer down. Even though the hammer, if it hits the receiver so many times, it's really not going to do anything, but over the course of time it could. And because Murphy is not exactly my friend, do you really want to trust that hitting your receiver and damaging it? So anyway, with the hammer down, go ahead and close it. It still doesn't close all the way. I just, with downward pressure, pull the bolt back, it closes, locks in place. Okay, so go ahead and place it on safe, open the bolt up. I'm going to go ahead and chamber. This is it is a primed case, no powder, no bullet. We don't really do that a whole lot, so okay, so we are locked and loaded. So we're going to do a couple things here. I'm going to keep it on safe at this point in time, just to make sure that does work. And what we've got back here behind me is we just got a standard dirt floor. It's got concrete rock on top of it, and we're going to pretend like you're walking around or whatever it is you're doing, and you go to drop the firearm and see if it's going to fire. Anticlimactic, which is good. On a side note, yeah, that piece of the brace did pop off, but no big deal. It looks like maybe it'll just go back on, but we'll proceed and I'll fiddle with that later. Okay, so with the next test, we're going to drop it muzzle down. And for those not familiar with the AR-15 M16 family of firearms, the firing pin is free floated, meaning the firing pin has freedom of movement to move forward and aft a little bit. So sometimes when you lock and load, even just doing the standard loading procedure, you can see a light primer hit on the primer. And that's all that is that firing pin's free floated. So I'm going to drop it straight on the muzzle. You know, maybe you're walking through the house and step on a Lego or a dog toy or something like that. We're going to see what happens. See if the free float firing pin will cause a discharge. Oh, that's good. Okay. So now we're going to do that again, but this time I'm going to put it on semi-automatic. Okay. We'll repeat the process. Nope. Actually, the cartridge came out. Probably something I should have checked on previous drops. Okay, we'll just start with it. I mean, the hammer's still back. Go ahead, it's on semi-automatic, muzzle side down, nothing. Still chambered, muzzle up, nothing. Nothing. Nope. All right, so ensuring that the cartridge is still there, which no, it came out. Which when I do open up the bolt, I can tell that the hammer is still cocked. I did clean this really well the other day, so it's nice and lubed up. Okay. Go ahead and put it on burst, or not burst, but full semi-automatic. Oh, okay, paying a little bit more attention that time. The casing did come out. Okay, this time we're gonna drop it on this muzzle. Oh, nothing. Casing still stuck in there. Now we're just gonna, oh, didn't fire. Ejection port cover is still closed. Cartridge is still in there, right? So one more time. It is still on full semi-automatic. And there goes the spent casing. So for this initial testing, I would say that this is drop safe. However, I just realized something I've got out here with me, and I can take the drop test a step further. So at the time, I'll go ahead, drop this back in the chamber. So I'm not really used to loading it this way, but I'm just going to keep it on full semi-automatic. I just realized Ted came out here to the range with me. See what happens. Yeah. Brass case still in there. So on full semi-automatic. and that did cause the case to come out of the ejection port. So based on my history with this weapon system, I'm talking about the actual Colt M4 M16 series of weapons, I will consider this drop safe. Now for the final test. And the final test should be relatively fine, because like anything else, we got to make sure it still works, right? Still got to make sure that we're still in the fight. So we're just going to go ahead and leave it on full semi-auto, and these steel targets are not very far away from me. All right. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, first we're going to start with semi-automatic just to make sure it does work. That works. We're going to go to full semi-auto. The magazine and the system does work. Yeah. Make sure that my may have a little bit of an issue with my A5 stock, which let's see. Let's take a quick tactical pause. That's interesting. That's why we like to get our equipment out here and test it. I will say that the A3 and the A4 brace seems to be working just fine. Okay, snap that back in place. All right, I don't think the A5 brace really liked all that dropping, but we can still fight. So we can still fight even if the brace isn't working all that well. So I will say that there's definitely going to be a win for the FRT as far as being drop safe for your average everyday citizen, prepared citizen, and even law enforcement officer. Some people may like to throw things off a mountain. I can say I took a pretty big spill in Afghanistan more than once, and it was probably pushing the limitations of what my body could handle, and my M4 handled just fine. So I guess the moral of that story is your weapon will probably outlast you. I mean, there are exceptions to that. One being if you have a standard AR with a Delta Delta ring on it, and you're in a hand-to-hand combat scenario, and you fall on it. I have seen in training where the whole rifle, an M4, just snapped in two parts. Complete catastrophic fail. So, having said that, I am impressed with the FRT. I probably will actually start implementing this as part of my defensive posture. Of course, you need to check state and local laws. And I guess the good thing is, just on the other side of this steel park, we have action bays, and there's probably about 30 law enforcement officers over there. So I'm sure if I was doing anything a little no-no, they'd probably come over here and talk to me. But anyway, I already talked to the owner of the range out here, and he knows exactly what I'm doing. So anyway, with that, God bless y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned, and we're going to catch you in the next video. Stay safe and carry everywhere that you can. Take care now.